All right, everybody. Thanks so much for getting on. It is Wednesday, almost the end of July, July 20th, and we are going to talk about vision tonight and really creating a vision that is worth fighting for. Okay, so this business is not always easy. We don't always feel like doing every part of it that we need to do, but we need to keep our vision in mind that is able to push us through those times. And I don't know, has everybody raised of hands, have you listened to the National Wake Up Call from this week on Monday? Yes, okay. We are going to listen to a few minutes together because it is so amazing and it pumps me up every time. I listen to it twice on Monday, which is crazy. I think that's the first time I've done it twice in the same day, but it is an amazing call. So we are going to listen for a few minutes and then talk about that and really put into action our vision that helps each of us. And it's going to be different for all of us. That's okay. It should be. It should be what motivates you particularly. So we're going to listen to a little bit. I've got it queued up. If you did not listen, it's Summer Tucker. She's a 15-star diamond. She lives in, I believe, Columbus area in Ohio, and which is not that far away from us. So if you ever have a chance to hear her speak, also she's going to be speaking at Summit. So hopefully some of you will hear her there or listen to the recordings. Side note, all of the recordings from the trainings from Summit are recorded and put on right now. The old ones are on our podcast. So you can listen to last year's through the podcast, but they will be on YouTube videos. They will be links to them in the online office. You will have access to all of those trainings. So it's an amazing way to get that really focused, well-planned, awesome topic training. So listen to those after the fact. Some things at Summit are even broadcast and streamed live. So if you're not going to Summit, stay tuned for that and find out how you can see some of that stuff, because it's really cool to see some of the new announcements, some of the ceremony that they do stream live. And I think the super workout as well. So you can work out with all of us. If you're not going to be at Summit, you can still do it. Everybody can hear me okay? Shake your head. Yeah. Okay, cool. Couple announcements before we listen to that. Let's see. Already mentioned about Summit. Stay tuned for announcements. We'll be announcing things in the team page as much as we possibly can as well. You should already know Country Heat is releasing July 27th. That's 1 week from today. So there's a few days at the end of the month that you can wrap up any Success Club points and get Success Club 5 at least in July, and then push it on through also for August. So I am not a country girl. Like, you guys do not even understand how much I am not. But I did the preview of Country Heat that was on the other day, and it was seriously really fun. I really have to say, it was a lot of fun. And I was laughing my way through it. Awesome, Karen, you liked it. You did it. You know, I really was like, okay, open mind. Just try it out, check it out. You know, I'm much more of like a size type dancing, hip hop, that kind of music and everything. But I just want to try it out and really see. And it really was fun. And I can see where it's going to be more doable for some people. The choreography and size can be challenging for some. This is not the same. It's 2 steps that she puts together, breaks them down, shows you how to do them. 2 steps, you do it, and then you move on. Okay, so it's not like putting together a whole dance, which I love, but it's for some people that's really hard to do, and they feel like forget it and give up. So this really is a way to do it for people that have a trouble with choreography but want to have just some fun with their workout and like music. Some of it is a combo that I heard live Facebook Live that Autumn was doing today. And she talked about how so much of the United States listens to country music, and a lot of country stars are merging together with other like pop stars and doing songs too. So it's music that you can relate to. I mean, Footloose was in there, and I was like, okay, come on, you got me. You know, like it's an 80s throwback, Footloose, you got me. So I actually am really excited. I hope you guys will be too, even if it's not totally 100% your thing. Don't close off to it. Talk about it to people, share about it, post about it, and just have an open mind to consider it and realize you will know people that it will be a good program for. Okay, so starts Wednesday. I believe the challenge pack and everything from it, like the deluxe or the regular kit, deluxe kit, challenge pack, all will be on sale by Thursday. Some things will be by Wednesday. All of that is in our online office as far as the specific dates. I opened up, and I would encourage you to open up either a private group to be adding people in who want that information, especially if you're going to be at Summit, so you can get that information out there to you people that you know are interested, in case you're not able to be messaging back all of them while you're out of town. But for anybody else, definitely consider doing a private group or an event. I set up an event to do, so I can kind of put promotional things in there and information. I put my own video in there of me doing it. And I'm just kind of giving tidbits about the program so they can have all that information there. And then I'll put, okay, so here's how to order if you'd like to order. All right. So think about doing something like that. Last announcement, we've got Team Cup coming up. If anybody needs on a team still, please post in Team InspireAction. I'm helping put together teams. I've got a couple people from, hey buddy, what's up? I've got a couple people from different downlines and different, but anybody can merge together on teams. And then if you haven't been involved in a Team Cup before, like, hey, I'm trying to do that while talking. We will put a Facebook group together of all of our InspireAction Team Cup teams so that we can all help motivate each other, keep track of points, encourage each other, share tips, all of that. So Lindsay and I and some others will add in, here's a task to do, or do this and let us know when you're done, that kind of thing throughout the month, so everybody can support each other. I see a couple questions there. Do we need to register a team captain? Team captain registers for everybody. So anybody that's a team captain, you need to have everybody's name, as it is with Beachbody, coach ID number, and email address. Okay, you need to have all of those things so that you can register the whole team. And you need to team of 5 coaches. There only can be 1 diamond, but there does not have to be 1 diamond on the team. Coaches, emeralds, anybody can be a team captain. Okay, but you are only allowed to have 1 diamond. Okay, so like Tony and I could not be on a team together. Other than that, it's a fun way to help each other, motivate each other, push through, step outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself to get higher success club points than you've ever gotten before, to win some fun prizes, to push your business forward, and, you know, just have a lot of fun in the month of August. Okay, so even if you haven't been on a Team Cup before and you're watching this, listening later, jump into a team. It's worth it. You don't lose anything. Okay, it's all about just working together, doing your best, and encouraging yourself and your team to go for something you haven't done before. Okay, make a bigger goal, step outside, talk to more people, let them know you're part of a contest, and if they're interested in help, you'd love to have their help with this contest. Okay, you're not pushing it on anybody just so you can win a contest, but if they are interested in your help, great to be a part of it. Okay, so we are going to listen to a few minutes of the call, and then we are going to move forward with talking about our vision. All right, I want to make sure, Joy, will you let me know by a thumbs up or head shaking if you can hear?
My knees during our very first deployment, and I'll never forget getting in that hangar desk and hugging my husband for the last time, and being scared to let go because I was scared I'd forget what he felt like. I was afraid I'd forget what he smelled like, and I just didn't want to let go. And staring at our 4-year-old and his cute little, flight suit, saluting Chad as he taxied away, and watching just one tear roll down his face, and it was like time stood still. And for the first time in my life, I felt absolutely stuck to the point where I started going through the motions. I started to put up walls. I started to, I tried to numb myself because crawling into bed every night, that cool bed by myself, was painful, and I started to just go through the motions for about 2 months after that deployment, and it affected everything that I did. And one day I was walking down the stairs to put a pot of coffee on because our 10-month-old wasn't a really good sleeper, and so I was absolutely exhausted. And there was this quote that I saw that I've seen a million times, but for some reason that day, thank God, it stopped me in my tracks, and it said, if you want something different, you have to do something different. And the fact is, I felt so hopeless in that moment. And the thing is we are so blessed to have amazing men and women that fight for this country. And so I carried a lot of guilt, even feeling the bitterness and the resentment that was growing inside of me, because it was because of them that we have the freedom to create, that I actually could create something with this business. And I felt like in that moment, like from above, I was smacked, like, wake up. The word that popped out to me was you. If you want something different, you have to do something different. Not Chad, not my parents, not my kids, not my upline. No, me. Summer had to do something different. We were living paycheck to paycheck. We were over $100,000 in debt. We were stuck in that resentment that I was allowing, Summer was allowing to grow, and my heart was putting a wedge between Chad and I. And it was in that moment that I realized this is my something different. Like, I've been praying for something, like, someone help me. I cannot do this for 20 years. And his answer was right in front of me the entire time. And so that's why it was, when that income starts to go up that you read at the beginning, that's when I drew the line in the sand that day. It was my day of decision that it is what it is no longer existed, that I was going to take that phrase, that victim mindset, that poverty mindset out of me and decide to do something different. And that's the very first tip to leading your team into action, you guys, that I want to talk about that helped me. So everything that I shared today is something that I went through. And so it's coming from a place of love. And you guys, I was stuck in what I call, it is what it is, cycle of death. And what I realized is I was stuck with no vision. So where there is no vision, so a man without a vision will perish, and that is exactly what I was doing. I was perishing. I was numbed out. I was going through the motions. I was smiling on the outside, and I started to lack motivation because that's the result of not having a vision. And once I started to slip into that lack of motivation, I started to slip into that comfort zone. I guess this is the lot in life that I have. And, I started to feel dissatisfied from that, where fear took root. Excuses started to slip in. Excuses like, I don't have enough time. If only my husband was more supportive. If only I had a better X, Y, Z, whatever. And those excuses leaded to complaining. And where there is complaining, you are cut off. Like, completely a lid is put on your blessing. And so the only place that I could figure out how to break that chain, that cycle of death that I was living in, was the vision piece, because the vision is what I needed to create the action for myself. And until I created action for myself, there's no way I could inspire action in anyone else. So where does this come from? If you're sitting where I was 9 years ago, 8 years ago, with that lack of vision, like that lack of motivation, those fears, those excuses that have taken root, where does it come from? How do you get out of it? It's programmed in us. And it could be from what we're watching on TV, what we're reading, in whatever books we have our head buried in, or the news, or whatever. We are programmed through childhood to believe certain ways. We traded in excitement for security. And that's exactly what we had done. We had traded in everything. We had settled for mediocre, and we needed to break free. See, it's kind of like an elephant, you guys. An elephant that is in a circus, right? It's trained from a very young age, and they put a chain around his ankle. They put the chain around his ankle, and every time this elephant tries to take a step, and some of you might feel like this, every time you try to take a step, that chain yanks at your ankle, just like it does that elephant. To the point where, after trying over and over and over again, no matter how big that elephant grows, the elephant gives up, to the point that all you have to do is put around it is a thin rope and give it a small tug in the circus for it to obey. And that's what I had done. I had been programmed. But here's the exciting part. This is what I realized, that if I had programmed myself, if I had created that, I could be unprogrammed. And it started with my belief. And that's where I had to start. And that's where I want to help you guys start right now. So I'm going to ask you guys the same thing that I asked myself when I drew that line in the sand, when I decided to move forward in this. I said, if I couldn't fail, what would I do with this business? I want you to ask yourself that. If you couldn't fail, what would you do? See, when I closed my eyes, when I asked myself that same question, I could picture the house that Chad and I would live in. We wouldn't move like we have 13 times in the last 11 years. When I closed my house, I saw roots. I saw, this long driveway with trees lining it, and this modest house with this outdoor fireplace that had, the high state game on outside, and chili cooking on the stove, and hot apple cider on the stove, and a huge couch that we were all relaxing together, and the key word is together. I wanted time. I wanted it so bad that I was willing to fight for it. And that's where action begins. It begins finding something you're willing to fight for. See, I had to close my eyes and ask myself, who would this impact if I achieved it? If this vision that was placed on my heart, who would it infect? Picture it, see it, smell it. What is it? Is it worth fighting for? Is it worth getting up at 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m.? Is it worth making the sacrifice to get to summit, or stepping outside your comfort zone to get on the cup call, or stepping outside your comfort zone to tackle, country heat? What is it? And is it worth fighting for? And that's something that I had to get real with myself. I had to develop that vision. And so that's the first thing we all have to do if we're going to lead our team into action. The next thing we have to do, once that starts to marinate, and that might take a little time, because, see, we've been programmed not to. We've been programmed just to kind of settle. It is what it is. It wasn't meant to be. This is kind of the lot in life. So it takes time to unprogram that. But I want you to let it marinate. And then as it starts to develop, I want you to make an emotional connection the way I had to. It's being vulnerable. It's called bridging trust. As you break down your walls and you start sharing with people your vision for your life, for your family, for what you want to create. This emotional connection is absolutely vital if people are going to come to what we call the rooftop. The rooftop was something that was introduced to me by one of my mentors, Scott Mann. He's a retired lieutenant colonel, Green Beret, for 18 years, 23 years in the Army. And this is how it was described to me. Okay, so when he was dropped into the most dangerous places on this planet, the first thing he had to do was to connect. He had to share the vision with these people that were oppressed and hopeless and lost. He had to make that connection and sell that vision. It was vital for him. And that's what we have to do. We have to be vulnerable. I had to be vulnerable. I was laughed at multiple times by people. My husband laughed at me and gave me some outlandish six-figure goal if we were going to live that vision. But it was that vulnerable, real, raw, that humanized me and created a connection that gave other people hope. And you can too. See, people want hope. People want hope in their lives, and you can be that light for them. This is where we help others. We give other people the permission to dream again, to create their life instead of settling. We were born in this amazing country with people that die every single day so that we can create. We just have to be that light for people to give them the permission to create. And so when your team, the team that you're trying to move into action, when they tell you their vision, when they share that with you, I want you to say this script to them. I want you to say, Chad, you told me that your vision, what you're willing to fight for, is fill in the blank. Do I have permission to remind you when life gets crazy, when things don't work out quite the way you want to, when things get so busy, do I have permission to remind you what you are fighting for? 10 times out of 10, the person will say, absolutely, thank you for refocusing me, and up they go to the rooftop with you again. Now, here's the deal. To get people to the rooftop, there's something that you have to do first. After you have that vision, after you've been sharing it, after you've learned other people's vision, here's the thing. You have to go to the rooftop first. See, Scott, when he was dropped in the most dangerous places on earth, he had to go to the rooftop before anybody else would join him. He would lean down, he'd make that connection, he would tell them their vision, he would tell them, I'm going to protect you. I'll be up there every single night, regardless of whether you follow me. I will be there because I believe in.
Okay, I could listen to her call seriously forever. But Lori, thanks for joining us. It was Summer's call from Monday on the National Wake Up Call, and I really loved her explanation about vision and how we really need to just get down to the basics of what are we willing to fight for? What are we looking for in our life to do for others, to do for our families, and what is strong enough? What are we willing to fight for? That we will go to that rooftop over and over and over again, even if no one's joining us. And that's what she goes into a little bit, is that the mentor of hers that was in a Green Beret in the military would go to that rooftop and say, I will be here, I will do this, whether you're with me or not. And then eventually others in the village started to join him and started to then learn how to fight for themselves and do what they needed to do to protect themselves and didn't need him to do it anymore. But until then, he had to do it, and he would do it over and over and over. So I really wanted to kind of have us think about that and be inspired by that, and then think about in your life. So in your life, and I was using the chat box there. So if you want any of the notes, I was writing them down in the chat box. I'm gonna close mine out. So I want to have you think about what is right now in your life the biggest financial struggle for you. What's the biggest financial struggle, or what's the biggest struggle on your family? And what's keeping you from achieving whatever that is, or overcoming whatever that struggle is? So take a second and really think about and write down, what is it? What's that biggest struggle? And then go into think about, why are you struggling? What is in your way? What are you not doing? Or what are you doing too much of? That is really leading that to be such a big struggle for you right now. And I hope you guys that are listening later work through this with us. Write down what it is, what your biggest struggle is, why you're struggling, and what you can do to overcome that struggle and to do better in that area. This may sound familiar to some of you if you were listening to Sarah's call as well. And I'm going to add in some other notes that I also took from Smart Success. So we're going to talk a little bit further about that. What can I do to overcome this struggle? And then if you were to overcome it, how would that make you feel? If you were to say, I no longer struggle with, or I have achieved XYZ and have overcome that struggle, how would you feel? What would you feel about yourself? Okay, and then I'm going to go a little bit more into, this is from Smart Success. I don't know, some of you guys may know, some may not. I went through a whole online academy, Smart Success, which is one of Chalene Johnson's online academies. And then there's a live event at the end where you really work through in workshops while you're there. And so this is one of the activities that we did to help get to our underlying idea of our life and what our life by design would be, to help us work towards creating smart success, not stressed success. Believe me, I haven't achieved it all yet. There are still times of stress, but the exercises are very helpful. They've been really useful, and they really have helped Dave and I. We both went through it and went to the event and pushed through some of the struggles that we've had and are still working on some, definitely. So I feel successful when and I want you to fill in the blank. Okay, I feel successful when and this is thinking about you, your own personal definition of success. All right, this is to really help you think about, what is that vision that I have for my life and where I want to go. Okay, so that can be whatever your idea of success means. I feel successful when I am working with people who, awesome, Taylor, thanks for typing in the chat. Feel free to, you guys. I would love to hear from any of you. So Taylor said, I feel successful when I help more people. Awesome. And I think sometimes we get so bogged down in, oh, points here and all that there and rank and all that. It's all about helping the people. And if you just focus on that, you'll do those other things too. You know, you'll do those other things that maybe have more weight on your personal goals or your income goal. Good. Anybody else feeling free to fill that in? I feel successful when I'm working with people who, okay, so fill that in. Maybe it's people that you want on your team, or people that you want as challengers, customers, clients, teammates, success partners. What would that mean to you? I feel successful when people I'm trying to help are consistent. Okay. Okay. So that would be a good clue there then, Joy, for like the type of people that you want on your team, the type of people that you want as coaches to join you in this business. You want them to be consistent. Challengers as well, of course. But you know, that's something to think about when you're looking for teammates and people that you want to join your team. Taylor said that's what you're working on. So do you mean, Taylor, consistency with the business or with the your health and fitness yourself?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. Both. And I think, you know what? Starting with your health and fitness right now and what you're doing with the reset, that is your business. Right now, creating that and then sharing that, that's your business. So that's awesome to be focusing right on that. Okay, moving around. Lisa, I see you there. Thanks for jumping on. My dream design life includes working in the following ways. Feel free to write it down, put it in the chat box. Working in the following ways. So what would that mean to you? Does it mean teaching live classes? Does it mean working online with people? Does it mean working a certain amount of hours in the day? All right, two more thoughts to kind of think about. My dream design schedule is as follows. Tony talked about this on his call last week, Tuesday, an extra call that we did on kind of getting back to the basics, and talked about in one of his trainings that he was doing. I'm trying to think which one it was that he said, but I think it was one of the books that he was working through. It was a great call, definitely. What his dreams, like he was prompted to think about what his dream schedule looked like. And how would you want to spend your day? How would you want to spend each hour of your day? So think about it. From time you get up, what time is that? Are you waking up with an alarm super early? Are you sleeping in until you wake up naturally? What does that look like? And then go through your day. What would that look like? And this is part of what we did with Smart Success too. I mentioned that on the call to Tony, is that was really something we wrote down hour by hour, what our days looked like. And think about that. What does that look like? I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds to really think through. And you can go back and flesh this out a little bit more. I don't want to, keep you on too long tonight with this, but I really want you to think about, what does that day look like? Anybody that's doing this watching this in the recording, stop, pause, press pause and work through this and write it down. How late are you staying up? What are you doing in the evenings? Okay, and last, I believe part of my life's purpose is to blank. So over the past several years, starting with our autism journey, I have completely changed my beliefs about happiness and really come to the belief that we are in charge of our own happiness and that we can choose happiness. And it really truly feels like part of my life purpose to share that idea and to share that option to believe that way with other people. I don't want to force it on other people. They can still hold on to the belief that others make them happy or unhappy if they want to. But I really do believe that we are in charge of our own happiness, because no matter what my husband does to try to make me happy, if I am not truly feeling happy and choosing happiness, I'm not going to feel happy. It's not on him to make me happy. It's not on any of my team, any of my clients, anybody saying yes, they want to get a challenge pack to make me happy. So I really feel like that is part of my life purpose, to share with other people and to help people to understand that they are in charge of their own beliefs and their own decisions. It's okay if they disagree with me. That's all right too. It's not my life's purpose to force them to believe that. But so that is part of what I share with other people and how I live my life. So I would love to hear from any of you, or I hope you've at least written down what part of your life's purpose is. And then I want you to think through. We're going to finish up because I really am respecting your time, and I said we would. But I want you to think through, okay, so from that biggest struggle and from what you think about why you're struggling and what you can do to overcome that. And then jumping to thinking about what you want in your life. What will help you to feel successful? And what would your day look like if you were living a life by design and a life of success? What part of your purpose would be involved in that day? What does that vision look like for you? And this can be your vision for 5 years from now. But if we have no idea what our future vision looks like, it's really hard to create it. It's really, really hard to keep working towards what are we actually trying to create? And I think a lot of us jump into this because we love it and we want to help other people and it's fun. But then things get tough and we think like, oh well, I'm just going to stop, or I'm just going to have an off month. Or no, we all do have off months for sure. And I want you guys to know this summer has been hard. It's been tough for me. And today my husband came home and I started crying. And I was thinking, like, I feel like a horrible mom. I'm not with my kids as much as I want to be. I'm working. I'm striving to help other people. He's had a really tough time financially. It's just been a really tough time. He's self-employed as an attorney, and that's very unpredictable. So it's been really, really tough. And I'm like, okay, now the pressure's on me to keep us going. So I need to do this. It's not like I just want to like be on my phone and whatever. I need to be working and making this business continue to be successful. So anyways, I know it's a struggle. I know tough times come up. They do for all of us. And I'm hearing this from everybody, you guys. Now I'm on The Wall, which is a Facebook group for 5-star and up coaches. Everybody in the network is having some harder times. So I want you to understand it's not just you. It's not just the people that you know that aren't ready to start or whatever. But those that are successful, those that are going to continue to go on and reach their vision that they have, are those that will not give up and that will not allow those outside circumstances to, like I said, control your mood and your beliefs about this business and about yourself. You keep moving and creating it as you want and going after that vision that you want. And that's what I did. And of course, he was not mad that I was making burgers for them and having my leftover reset dinner. And that I was a horrible mom. There was none of that from him. It was all about me at the time and all about my doubts. So we're all going to have those doubts. I know that we're all human and that will be there. But got right back in it. I said, I'm going to get on my team call tonight. I'm going to continue reaching out to people and following up. And I'm going to continue to make this a success. So please feel free to unmute yourselves. Ask any questions now. Share now. What does this bring up for you? What is your vision that you have? It may not be all totally fleshed out right now yet, but what is it? Have you thought of it? Is it hard to think about? Either unmute or feel free to put it in the chat box too. Taylor, sorry, I don't know when you put that up there. I believe part of my life's purpose is to give people energy, make them smile, and get them to believe in themselves. Okay, and you know what? I had a text with somebody the other day. She's like, I'm struggling with this because I have such a hard time believing that I can do this. And, believing in myself that I can do this. And I said, you know what? I am here believing in you, and I will help you continue to believe in yourself. And we can do this together. And this is somebody that's not on Facebook, so I'm going to be creative with how I work with her. And I know that it's going to be different. It's just going to be different. It's not necessarily even a challenge. It's going to be different from what I typically do. But that's all right. We can all be creative with that. So I love that, Taylor, and helping other people believe in themselves and sharing how you started to believe more in yourself. That's what's going to help them believe in themselves. Anybody else want to share on your ideas about your vision or life's purpose? Hey, Dee. Nobody else wants to share right now? So Joy says, I really have a heart for helping women not get lost in their lives. What do you mean? Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. A lot of the women that I work with or that I'm friends with, are super busy like everybody else, and they work and they have kids and they have a husband, and they're just going 90 miles an hour all the time. And they're these wonderful, compassionate, fabulous, giving women, but they don't take time for themselves. And they really believe it's selfish to take time to take care of themselves. And so, slowly but surely, I'm really trying to show them, because they know I am not vain. I'm not one of those fake people. I'm real, but I've carved out this time. And so it makes me very happy. It makes my heart very happy when some of them buy into that, because they're just losing themselves. I mean, I have a lot of women that are very good friends of mine who are obese, and they don't think anything's wrong, and they're just getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and they're taking care of everybody else, and they've got these fabulous, successful jobs, but they're just killing themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. That is truly like part of my niche that I try to speak to as well. And definitely, I mean, especially special needs moms, autism moms, they're dying. They truly are dying on the inside. And then their bodies start physically dying because with illness, with disease, with illness, with extreme mental health issues, because they are so stressed out dealing with everyone else and providing and helping everyone else. And I know the idea of selfish. So continue to share that. I think one of my key photos is a photo about taking care of you is taking care of your kids. I'm sorry, taking care of your kids. Taking care of you is taking care of your kids. Because it makes you a better mom, makes you a better person. And so, continue to speak to that, because there are so many moms and so many women that do need to hear that really become the caregiver, and there's nothing left. It gets to the point when there's nothing left, and they can't care for anybody else how they want to either, if they haven't cared for themselves. Anyone else? One more? Anybody else want to share a little bit about what you feel your purpose is, what you see as your vision that you are willing to fight for and are going to keep fighting for?
Well, I'll go.
Okay. Close us out, Lori. I'll mute myself.
What? Okay. All right. My vision is to learn better practices through time management and business strategies, so that I can do the work that I really believe I'm good at, which is inspiring and motivating people to this type of lifestyle. So my vision is to figure the daily processes out. So if the 5-year big plan is to eliminate my struggle. And what is my struggle? Paying for the children's education. So
that's the big vision, to say, I'm able to pay for this. What they need for school, what they need for their life, I'm able to pay for that. Right? That's the big vision. And then you've broken it down already into, okay, this is what I need to do to achieve that. And that's so important. We can't just have this big vision and, you know, our cool vision board with that up there without also then creating those steps in between. So how we're going to get there. And you know that time management and focus are what you need to do day by day by day by day to get there. I'm with you, sister. But I think Joy could help us out. She's got us. Like, that's the thing. Dee can help us out. That's why we have such a cool team. Like, we've got different strengths, right? We've got different strengths to help us. But truly, you know, I think you have to have the big vision, and then you have to break it down into what do I need to do each day to get there. But keep that big vision really, really strong, so that when the day-to-day gets to be a struggle, you say, it's worth it. That's what I'm fighting for, and it's worth it. I'm going to sit down and do my power hour. All right, Karen. Hey, I see your chat. Okay. I want my independence back. I feel I gave that up when I quit working after my children were born. I want to contribute to our household and family more by providing an income. Okay, so having that financial piece and being a part of that for your family is big for you. You know you're providing so much to your family as a mom, right? Of course you are. But I understand that. I really do. And that, I think, I can relate to that so much, because I stopped working as a full-time social worker where I was helping other people just to be at home and to help my son and to help both my sons. But it took a piece away that I was used to having, which was some financial input and some purpose to me outside of being mom. And so I absolutely can relate to that. So what would you think of daily then to help motivate you to keep going? Because you're new in this, I know. So, I mean, as you're new and you're learning and it's a lot, how would you stay motivated each day to keep going towards that vision of financially helping with your family? Lori, are you doing dishes?
Oh, I'm not muted?
I don't know why. Oh, I guess you didn't mute yourself after. Karen, you can type or unmute. Do you want me to unmute you? Okay. Do you know how to do it? Let me see. I know how to do it. Unmute.
Fun.
There you go. You're unmuted. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know, I have so many things, it's like, you know, going on in my head, you know, these past few months that, you know, I know that I need to establish a more, what would you say, a more accountable schedule, a more daily schedule, because with my kids being here at summer, it's been really hard for me to sit down and work. And without letting them, you know, making them feel like they're not important. And then trying to make them understand that what I'm doing is important.
How old are your kids?
8 and 11.
Ah, very similar to mine. Mine are 9 and 12.
So those kinds of things, you know, that's just my little downfall. But, you know, that little downfall, I think, is what's keeping me from getting where I want to be.
Okay. Yeah. So I think thinking about a little bit about you're going to spend all day long. So you have all day long to think about spending time with your kids and helping them be important and valuing them. I think one thing that is important for me to do that I am working to do more of lately, and it's helping me to feel better about the business, is I am making myself sit down for that focused work time, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours. Sometimes today it was 2 hours and then another, hour later. But so that you can say, I need until this time and then I'm done and let's do something. I need until this time and then let's go to the pool or let's go see the park, whatever you're going to do. And knowing that they're going to have that time with you and knowing that right now they need to either do some reading, do some, like creating a setup for them to have some stuff to do. And then knowing you're going to focus and you're going to do that focused activity for work during that time. And then you're going to close it off. And that's for me, closing it off. But, and know that does not need to make you feel guilty. That's like what Joy and I are saying, is that's that time for you. That's that time for your work, which is important.
All right.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being on. I hope that it was helpful to help think about your vision in this way and creating that. Please write it out for yourself. Feel free to share it with me. I'm going to work on mine and share it with all of you. I'm going to redo it. I'm not going to just do the one that I did before for Smart Success because things have changed. Yeah, that's right. Somebody said, yeah, Joy said, your kids will respect how productive their mama is. And that's true. You are showing them, look, I'm going to do this because I'm working towards this for us. Maybe it's vacation money. Maybe it's whatever money, but something that they can understand. I'm doing this to help our family so we can XYZ. And, and letting them know that's important. I was thinking that today too, that I need to share that with my kids more than I do.
You're right. We do.
Yeah.
Help them to understand and think, then they'd be more willing to work with you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And then knowing that this is a set time that I'm done and, hold me to that. The kids always want to hold them out, like hold you to something, like you're always holding them. You said you were going to do this, go do it, so let them do that for you. And then really you'll feel so awesome. You'll feel so great knowing you did your productive hour. All right. So yeah. Thank you guys, everybody, for getting on. I hope this is helpful. Share them with me. I will share mine with you. And I hope you will share this with your teams. The recording will be up as soon as I can get it, probably by tomorrow morning, if not tonight. So have a great night, you guys. We will not have a call next week at all. We'll be at Summit, so there'll be tons to be listening to. So excited.
I'll be on vacation next week, so if I don't listen, don't shoot me.
Was that you, Karen?
Yes, I said I'll be on vacation next week, so if I'm not,
no, that's okay. That's all right. We'll be at Summit, so we won't have any call, but we will be sharing lots of announcements, so you can catch up on them when you get back.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye-bye.